Yo, what's up there, my fellow YouTube fans and friends? KFan701 here. It'll be the last streaming of March 2021, and I won't have that long to wait till my thing can reform itself until the next month comes along. Now, I have to be very honest. It has been a very rocky March, but at the same time, it's been a really good one. What I mean by good is that it was good to see that I've actually made newer friends and newer fans who have heard about me but never got the opportunity to communicate and get to know me. You know, but at the same time, when it's been rocky, it's been like a very tough one because I had COVID-19, as did my mother and father, but we did end up beating it, and we survived it, and of course I got to meet, my nan again after the lockdown was lifted up for us because, we're out of quarantine. We can actually meet up again. Which was yesterday. We had a very quiet Mother's Day. It wasn't very good, but it was a very jeez. Sorry for if I said a little yawning. I didn't sleep very good last night. I have to be extremely honest. There's another Glenn on here, Glenn Huston. Hello. Chris, hey there, Chris. I'm good. I'm real good. I'm holding up strong. It's kind of funny, actually, I'm bringing this up, because recently, again, there's an unusual pattern going on here. As soon as I lose a lot of friends who don't want to be around me anymore or believing in all the BS stuff that surrounded me from last year and in the past as well, dating back from 5 to 10 years, the more I lose, the more newer friends I'm making who have come here and just, become big fans of mine and like what I do, and they don't see nothing wrong with it. Yeah, of course, it's so weird. There's been a lot of, I want to say backstabbing, but those who have gone behind my back again and decided to abandon me for good without even telling me why, because of the toxicity that's apparently being shown. Indeed. It is kind of funny, except I've got one end, you've got two ends, Playboy. Any cases, what I'm trying to get at is that, it really is a shame because, just when I felt like I'd settled my differences with some of them, they decided to go behind my back and just shove me down like I'm nothing, which is very cruel. And I can relate because a lot of my other lads have had this problem too. But it's funny because as soon as that happens, I get newer guys who get caught up and actually decide to see that I'm actually a good, wealthy, speakable person. I'm not someone to be disgusted by. Despite all the mistakes and slip-ups I've made, that's just part of being human. It's not that. People think I'm not worthy, even if I do owe up to my mistakes. I know. Yeah, it's hard to find it. People say I don't care for people, that I'm just a cold, heartless, individual. I will admit by going forward, I will admit that sometimes the words that could come out of my own mouth, even though I don't feel it on the inside, I do feel like, in my head, I feel like, oh, I should never have said that, or what the hell was I saying? As we all know, every action has a reaction, and they can have consequences, and I can get that. But they don't have to go like that far, because it's like people make us do it that way. Heck, I'll go as far as saying that some people do that to me just to get a reaction out of me, to think that's the real me coming out. And honestly, what you're hearing now is basically the real me being a very calm, cool, collected, and just a chilled back man. Because, that's just the way how I want to be. That's how I want to be socialized as. I don't like to have negativity and, dramatous and rubbish stuff, all that. Because some people like to come on down and just stir up, just to get a reaction because they have nothing good to do. They think it's fun, they think it's a good thing, and sometimes they don't realize that their own will have consequences, in the end. People don't want to own up to their own actions. People have said I'm not worthy of owning up to mine. Well, guess what? I have owned up. And if people don't want to like that, if they want to not accept it or go down that direction, or you want to move forward, let alone just focus on who I used to be in the past, then so be it, as the villains would say in films. But either ways, progressing is taking us slower than I thought it was going to go. I mean, it's like a momentum. It's like first you get a great progression, and then all of a sudden it's like cut off and you go at a snail's pace. That's currently what I'm into right now. Something, Hostile, I'm in an endless balance of people that I used to think were good and end up becoming toxic, and it's like I can't leave them. It's like I've left them, but they're not seeming to leaving me. That's the thing I'm surrounded with, and people think I am. Well, I'm not. I hate to be accused of something like that. But today, nowadays, accusements are just BS and mental behavior, in my opinion. Do I ever go around accusing people? Absolutely not. Heck, but I'm not accusing, but I always have that suspicious, in my mind of people. Yeah, what is it? What does it make you think of, Christopher? Did I stir up a memory in your head there? Looks like it looks like I do. Hang on, let me rephrase that. It looks like I can get myself around the good people nowadays who can actually believe and know who I am. I'm just trying to be with the right people, like you guys, for instance, who understand me as I am now and not who I used to be, because that part of me is gone. A lot of people won't understand it, or they choose not to, or they just want to believe what they want to believe, Yeah, talking can actually help. To be honest, it's gotten me out of a lot of situations that I've been in. Even if I try to defend myself as best I can, I try not to talk to where it will lead to drama, to depression, to anger, because that's what I'm seeing in a lot of things nowadays. Not just here on social media. It's also outside the internet where I see people who come in who want to use it to get attention and only to focus on them. That's what I tend to avoid a lot. Or sometimes I try and whenever I can't take my own words out, I try to just to make my voice be heard in the right way, not like as in those who just want to do it for criminalizing ideas. Some people think I can talk a lot of BS or whatever the case may be, but I can't help but the way I am. Sometimes I end up saying some words to get my words out there to know that I mean it. Trying to slap a little authority behind the words, to know that I'm not talking like a mental, delusional, cluster F human being. Huh, I had no idea you had some sort of a fan fiction, Christopher. That's kind of... Ooh. What's that like? You should tell me more about that. That's caught my interest. Yes, we're all human. We're fighting in this battle no matter what forms of. Yep. We all make mistakes, and we do our best to fix them. Yep. Correct. Okay, that quote there Christopher's displaying here on my screen right now, I think a lot of those idiots out there need to take that into consideration, because that is something we need to take very seriously in today's time. I think people have forgotten who they are as humans. They so rely on their everyday life, being on their tab phones and smartphones and whatever the case may be. It's part of their everyday life. If they try and take a break away from it, or try and be like they were like it was back in the back in the 90s or early 80s or even the early 2000s, things would be a lot more better and we would be more balanced. And there's another thing I would like to get out of my head, is the voice of reason. That is something that we need back in this world, because without that, how are we going to control the way we can communicate in fandoms? How do we know we can be like that way out there in the real world, where we can actually have someone to reason with and that way can control a lot of people and make them live a better life and have a positive outcome, like we're trying to do here in this COVID scenario. You know, CJ, you bring a good point. You know, people nowadays are attention seekers. People have even said I'm an attention seeker. I may sound like I'm one, but in truth, I'm not. I'm just trying to blend in and just have a good old time talking and laughing away with people, you know? I did that once a lot back when I was in my early 20s and I had a lot of good time. I used to have a lot of friends to hang out with, and that's not the case anymore. But I'm trying to get that back, you know? But nowadays, like in the Thomas fandom or in Star Wars or in the anime fandom or even in other fandoms, there's a bunch of peoples out there who just want attention because they have nothing to go about or they don't respect or appreciate who we are, and they end up doing something very silly that they don't even realize that they're making fools of themselves. And I've been getting this recently with people that I've not liked to be around with anymore and just want them out of my life, and yet people think I eggnog about them or whatever the heck they're trying to say, which is BS. Thanks, Chris. You hit the nail on the head. That's really good. Well, you know something, Hostile? Change is one thing, but I think in today's time, in the last 11 years, there's just been too much changes going on that have come way too quickly. And I'm talking about like in technology and the way how we've relied on ourselves too much, you know. I mean, that sort of change. There's a lot of bad changes that recently have happened in other things I don't want to get out with. But there are some changes that are good that can be useful. But I do think we should adapt to them very, very slowly, give it more time. Whereas things are changing way too quickly from here to there, and it can lead to something very, very bad, like a horrible outcome. And that's something I think that we're kind of focusing on way too much. Indeed, Bradley, that is the truth. We can't. That's the thing I always say. We can never change the past, but we can actually change the future, and you know, to make a different outcome. That's what we need to do every 24 hours a day. Sometimes, you know, to have a better outcome in our lives, and that's what I think we're going to try and do with this COVID problem. But I also think with a lot of people with other issues that they have, they need to do the exact same thing instead of worrying about what we've done in the past. Like me, for instance, I don't bring up my past. I'm only forced to do it when people have nothing to talk about, because there are some who have no better than to talk to you about who I used to be. They only focus on what wrongs I'd done and never think about the positives or the great things that I had done before leading up to where I am now and what I'm trying to focus it on. That's what matters to me more. That is something that I think a lot of people tend to, how should I say this? They tend to not understand or not bother. They only want to focus on the negatives because they think that makes them more powerful or even more understandable. But we can't help the way we are sometimes as humans, physically, mentally, or somewhere in between. I don't know. I can't give a better answer than that. Okay, emotionally changing. Okay, that is one thing. Okay, I never thought of that. Emotionally change is something. Yeah, I don't think I ever had that before. Oh, of course. You're right. When people change their opinions about it, some of them thought it was a big hoax, they didn't take it seriously, but now it has done. I mean, heck, I've seen people that I know who've been affected by it. Heck, I beat COVID-19 for God's sake. I barely survived it myself. You know, even though I wasn't vaccinated, the only thing that's frustrating for me is that I have to wait until the bloody summer to get mine done. It's not because I'm young. It's just that, Jesus Christ. You know what I'm trying to get at, right? That's the thing now. That's the only thing I'm currently frustrated with this scenario. Even though I've beaten it, it has kind of given me a physical, emotional, well, not bad emotional, but you get what I'm saying. Like you said, it is an emotional thing to get through, and I was, because I nearly lost my father to it, and I was worried. So it has kind of emotionally changed my way how I've looked at this whole scenario. but I still take it seriously, you know. And for those who think it's a hoax, who don't take it very seriously, they'll end up paying the price, you know. And that's one thing we can't blame this whole pandemic for. You know, it's not just that, but there are other people out there who keep breaking the rules, who are getting fined and not wanting to have the vaccine. They think that some of them think it's a hoax, and some have actually perished from that. And that makes it more tragic. Sorry about that, lads. I was just finishing one of my Pepsi drinks there. Yes, I have. I've heard about the Sodor Fallout. It's one of the best things that's become rapidly popular in the Thomas community, which took off by storm, let me tell you. I'm glad you've liked my film with Timothy as well. It was very, very good. Yeah, you're right, Casey Jones. They do bring that. Yeah, really true. And hey, Bradley, this quote you've said is exactly what I'm currently up to right now. I mean, I only try and talk about the positives of the past, not the negatives. That's one thing I'm trying to get to, because I am getting a little nostalgia in a good way, because, spring's coming up and then eventually summer will follow, and then a lot of great things tend to happen. And I've been getting this now for about 6 to 7 years, because when that comes, something very good ends up happening, and it's very magical, let me tell you. I ain't gonna lie, it's not like a curse or anything, it's just something that happens a lot. And I see somebody on here, he's definitely trying to get inside my head here. Alright, Shadowman, I know that's you, bro. You're trying to get inside my head, aren't you? Shadowman, I know what you're trying to do. You're not gonna get inside my head, bro, man. If that's your plan, you ain't gonna be welcome, bro. All the lads are on to you. So, cut it out. There we go. That'll do for a while. It ain't gonna get to me. Oh yeah, but trust me, I mean, it's funny, Bradley, because I've not lost anybody in my family, to the whole COVID pandemic, but I will have to admit, though, it has actually had an effect on those who have caught it, but yet we've managed to survive it. And that's the thing, my oldest brother Daniel, he got tested 3 times and they came back negative. Even my sister-in-law Natalie, who's recently beaten cancer, was tested 3 times and had beaten it. And they too got their vaccines as well, so they're very, very lucky. I mean, if there's one thing that this whole thing, that's true. It's changed everybody and everything. I think not everything in a way that we might know, though. Hostile, the things that have changed that we can get through them, yes. This has actually been a new challenge that we've never anticipated, and it's making us want to do something, but we have to keep ourselves locked indoors so we don't catch it. This whole pandemic is like a modernized version of that pandemic that happened in 1918, and look at how that happened. And then they had the swine flu in 2003, which I don't even remember too much about, to be honest. I mean, this pandemic isn't going to last forever, because eventually it will die out. The more vaccines we roll out, the better chance it will have to try and leech away at anything else. And I think there will be a time where it will eventually die itself out, because it won't last. That's one thing, and let me tell you. But if there's one thing that this COVID's definitely taught us, it needs to be with our friends and families that we need to love and care about. Because one thing we've noticed is that we've been straying too far away from our loved ones and friends, and we ended up being with the wrong people, and we go about going around the wrong side of life. We need to be with those that we care about, who mean more to us. And I think that's what we've been trying to get back at recently, because one of my cousins discussed it with me once. I think it was I think it was a few days before Christmas last year, saying that we've taught the one thing that this whole outcome has taught us is that we need to really be close to our loved ones and be sociable, be together with like we used to be back in the glory days. So it's kind of like brought back a little nostalgia to us because I used to remember growing up as a young man, as a younger teenager and as a little kid. I remembered that we used to have that a lot, like in my neighborhood, that we all used to get together, help each other out, or social well. I mean, this is one of the greatest things that we had back then, back like in the early 90s. That was from 1990 to 2000, that was the decade that formed the final blueprinting of the modern world that we're in now. But the year 2000 and from onwards, I think, was the year that brought us all together, like globally. Like we all meant one another, that we all cared and respect who we were, regardless. And I think that's what this whole outcome is actually trying to teach us. You know, maybe that's another thing. Maybe in theory wise, that could be the case. Who knows? I've seen a lot of people, do that. A lot of them have come together, have been with their friends. Some have reunited with older friends or guys they've never known for such a long time. I mean, it's kind of had more of a a very, very mixed positive and negative outcome, almost like this somewhat blessing and cursing in disguise, if you will. It's strange. I mean, it can be weird because it's a deadly thing to have, but at the same time, it's actually really brought us humanities back to those who we should care and love, and not hang about with losers or idiots or people that use us to exploit us for our own weaknesses. That's one of the things. I'm telling you. Hang on. Oh, hey guys. Oh, hang on. What's that then? Oh, the game worried. Oh dear. Hang on, mine's a bit rock that video. It's okay. Help out. Hang on. That is true, Jacob Payton. You make a pretty good point there. That's not the way to go in life. Never act like a bad person. Indeed. I've been through that before, man, Jacob. Hang on. What?
Don't worry, guys, I'm still here. I'm just helping you up. My mum's not well. That's all. I'm still here, lads. Don't worry. Oh, for crying out loud. Idiots. Okay, guys, I'm back. Sorry if I was gone for a long there. I just had to help my mum. She's not well. She collapsed and had to be taken to the hospital.
into the ambulance once again, or what the heck it was. It's scary, man. Let me tell you. Oof. Okay, I can see Shadowman 16, who recently stabbed me on the back, is basically just not going to give up. But it's not going to get me. He's spamming his own backside. That's what he's doing. Fool. Bradley, in case you're wondering, my parents are doing really good. They did beat COVID as well, but my mom blacked out again. You know, having a problem with her condition or whatever it was. You know, she looked like she felt like she was going to get a heart attack. You know, my dad just told me I just got back in. It was a bit scary. Oh well. Well, she's fine now, but was a little scary though. Although one thing is for sure, there's a lot of drama that's surrounded it. Other things that I'm not associated with have died out. But it's not just me. There's other guys who've had their own issues that have become really, really bad. But I'm not associated with any of it. But yeah, there's been some servers I've had to leave because some of them became very, very toxicity. She's all right now. Bradley, she's all right. Mom's okay now. She's just having to rest up because I've done what I had to do. No. But listen, man, like I said, there's been some servers on Discord that I've had to leave because of the, to the whole toxicity shit that has happened. And of course, in case you don't know, Shadowman's right there in the chat box, as you can tell. He was one of the guys who actually was behind that as well. And I had to leave because he was no longer the man I knew. And I had to go. Unfortunately, Jesus Christ, it was not right, let me tell you. Good news is, though, he won't be a part of my life anymore. He was cut off instantly, and, you know, if he tries to surf anything, you know, that's going to be bad. He was the recent man I had to get out of my life. So I'm still sticking with the right people, regardless of what my haters and other guys are going to do, because, you know, karma will get back at them, eventually. So for now, I'm too focused on the positive future and what might come in the aftermath of this whole pandemic, whenever that day may be, regardless, you know. I mean, a lot of people say that, you know, some like what I do, some don't. I mean, I'm a straight-up individual who likes what I see or doesn't like, but doesn't make a big tissy out of it. You know what I'm saying? I mean, some people have had fatigue from me, and some of them just don't like me clearly and purely without no knowledging. I mean, look at me. I don't judge people in a way that you might think. I mean, it's very strange, you know. It really is. It will eventually end, you know, Bradley. You know, the COVID thing won't last. The more and more, you know, the more and more vaccines we keep rolling out and brand newer ones, regardless, then that's how we'll beat it eventually. You know, pandemics don't last forever. You know. I mean, it's one of those things, man. I mean, I still have my thoughts and prayers that go out to all those who have lost loved ones and friends. But, you know, for guys that have broken the rules and those who have, you know, for those who break it and disobey it and lose their lives, you can't help but they deserve it sometimes. That's alright, Hustle. We'll stay in touch eventually if that's ever possible. I don't know, Bradley. I'm not really intending to upgrade to any other games at all, the trains. But say if I was to, I probably would go for a new era, or maybe I don't know. I'd probably use the one that Victor Tanzik first started to use back in the Italy series. But I wouldn't consider using you know, Trains 19 or whatnot. I mean, it does look good, but it's just not me, you know. I'm just sort of like want to keep to the old school style, you know. That's just how I am. Hmm. I'm just still worried for people who might still have it, you know. But regardless of this, I've undergone a major changement, you know. Some of my lads who have left me, you know, have actually come back and told me, you know, how am I holding up? Or just ignore the lads who are continuously just harassing and stalking me. Which is true, you know, I actually am being, you know, in the wrong way. But at the same time, you know, let them continue, you know, they'll get what's coming. But the thing is, the more I let them do that, the more that they're just going to take away a lot of guys in the fandoms that I used to be a part of with, you know. That's the problem. It's like nothing makes any sense. In any cases, regardless of that, I'm happy with what I've got, you know. But anyways, like I said, we have to do the best that we can, you know. But it's just that the more bad guys keep going on, mate, it's almost like they're the ones who are in the right, so I'm still being smacked in the wrong. And that's the thing I still can't get out of my head. I'm not like this individual that they keep, you know, accusing me of. You know? It really is sickening. I know, I'm just as fresh as I ever have done. You know? But it's like I'm not allowed to. I mean, it's just one of those things, you know. It's just hard to start fresh when you have all these idiots around you who just won't give you any slack, you know, who won't give you enough time to move, to do anything, you know. Shadow Man, will you just please just shut it, man? My mates are not simps. Jesus Christ. You see what I mean? You're gonna have one bloke out there that's just gonna try and stir up some bullshit, you know? You see what I mean, guys? You can never get a break from some people who just won't stop. It's just ridiculous. Oh. Ah! Either way, so, yeah, but either ways, you know, it's just one of the things, you know. You just have to do your best to ignore them and just continue on doing what you gotta do best. But, hey guys, if you go down the chat box, you can see Sherman sent something there. That is just absolute trash, man. You know, Sherman, if you don't like being on this stream, then just tuddle off. You ain't worthy, dude. Just go. It's simple as that. Oh, Buster, you're back. That didn't take too long. You can see he's right there again, lads. He's not getting a reaction. Well, Bradley, look. Am I reacting? Hell no. I'm just like, dude. You know, there's no point. I'm just like, seriously? Well, that was a quick walk. Okay, guys, I'm just going to show you quickly. It's not a reaction. Let's just say this is what this douchebag's trying to do to me now. Someone I thought I trust has now become a toxic member of everybody who despises me for the wrong reasons. Yeah, just look at this crap. See? Now that is offensive. None of you guys are not simps, alright? That's just total BS. It's a slang word and it's something you don't say. Because that is so retarded, man. Jesus Christ. So that is just something that's really bad. So I'm just blocking him now. There we go. Got him off. I'm telling you, there's always people like that who call me that recently, you know, on Twitter, they call me that on DA, they call me that on Discord, now here. I'm not a simp, you know, and no one should be called that. Do I call anybody that? Not really. I mean, it is a slang word to use, big time, but it's something you wouldn't see me do. You wouldn't see me call that anybody, you know, it's just wrong. I mean, I know some of my friends have admitted to being that, but not to the level that this is sort of, you know. Maybe it is weird. Who knows, regardless, you know. But it does kind of get a little under my skin a little bit. It is irritating, but why would people call them that? Just checking up on other things that need to be seen. It's just not right. It literally isn't. I mean, what good will that bring our people? It doesn't do any good. It's almost like it's right to try and bully boy people, even if they're older than you. That's never right, you know. It's almost like a little bully trying to pick on somebody that's bigger than them. And that's Calvinism right there, man. It really is. But either ways, lads, it's just, you know, disappointing the way how people can react. I mean, it's alright, Casey Jones. It's I'm just not having that. I'm just having a single stream, you know, to bring things out, and it's just, you know, it really is, you know, depressing at times. People do this sort of thing just to try and get us a reaction, like as Bradley had said. That's just never right. Even the good people like that have become that way, but at least You won't see guys like you or myself or anybody else go to that level. As Broly said, Shadowman was an attention seeker just to get a reaction out of me. That is true, and that's what he was doing. And he paid the price for it. Either ways, guys, I'm just so glad to have some of you who do understand me and still accept me for what I am, regardless, you know. Either ways, lads, I want to take you to thank you for this time to join in and enjoy this little standalone stream that I'm doing, you know, and I just hope for the best of you guys, you know. It's always good to meet newer people who come here sometimes to like what I do and get to know who I am and explain, you know, and they want to know how they feel about what I, you know, how much my films impacted their lives, and some of them want to go ahead with other things I'm doing, which is good. That means a lot to me. It goes to show that there are true fans out there on the fan base that know and respect the talent that I have, and I too show the same in return. You know, and that's how we all should be in fandoms, you know, regardless of what we have. I mean, nobody on this planet is perfect. You know, nobody's perfect in this world, you know. Heck, I'm not perfect. It's bad enough, you know. It's bad enough about my diagnosis and other things, but like I said, we can only make the best of ourselves when we attempt to, you know. That's the best thing I can give to people who want to be like that, you know. They want to make it in this world, or you know, they need to do the best they can, regardless of what people do when they put them down in such horrible ways, like I've had to go through it. But I never give up. You know, people drive me to that point, you know, that they don't want to face it. You know, there's just so much turmoil in a lot of people that they don't understand who they are, they don't know what they're doing. Every action has a reaction, you know, and it's just one of the most horrible things to go through, you know. And people will just continue on, just battering down and just battering people into the point where they end up giving in to their evil ways. You know, people don't like to face the truth that people have matured or have moved on forward, you know, but it's never easy, you know, inch by inch, bit by bit, you know, that's how it goes. If people want to continue saying I talk a lot of BS or I'm just covering my own rear end, you know, that's falsified, man. But I'm being very, 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 very truthful, you know, because that's just how I am with a lot of people. After learning from my own mistakes, I try and pass on my knowledge to those that, you know, who need it. You know? And that's the best thing I can give you guys for anybody right now who's suffering through that sort of thing. Yeah, either ways. Whew. It's just one of them things, you know. We've got to make the best of ourselves and just try and be with those who believe in us. We need to help each other. You know? That's how things go. And that's how it should be in this time. You know, that's all I can say. I mean, it's a lovely day now. The sun's come out, but it's a bit cold out there still. But that's the thing, you know, winter's come to an end. Spring will be starting up eventually, and you know, even though it has already, I guess. But let's just say we gotta, you know, wish for the best of 2021, and eventually, when the summer arrives, hopefully we'll be out and back to our normal lives again. But then again, I always question myself: what is normality? You know, we've always lived our normal lives regardless of what anything that's happened. We've always changed and progressed, and we've always managed to rebuild our lives and be better people. As Batman said in Batman v Superman, men are still good. We fight, we kill, We betray one another, but we can rebuild, and we can be better, and we have to, and we can. That's something that I believe deeply, that we're in this Monday time, and I think that's exactly what we're all going through. There are times where we always fight with ourselves, we end up hating ourselves, and we betray one another at times, or we can always find ways to get back together, even if it means we lose somebody. And we can rebuild, and we can do better. And I think that's where we're going in this point. Even though last year was the most cluster-affected year for humanity and for mankind, I think 2021 can really push us through this. And I mean, look at the outcome we've had recently. If you were to compare to what happened a year ago when this whole pandemic started, here in the UK for that matter, and look at where we are now, there's a big, big, big difference. I mean, that was a big mouthful for me to say, but that's just how I'm looking at this whole thing through my own eyes. I just hope everything gets better for you guys as well across the pond in the US and in other parts around the globe. My heart goes out there for every family and every friend and every acquaintance I've ever had. I really am. This is a life-changing experience for all of us. We are not alone on this planet. Because even though we're all miles away from each other, we're always going to be there for each other. We can help one ourselves. And sometimes talking things out can do a great thing. And I really think that really has worked on my life as well, because I do that now with a lot of people. And it can actually work. After all, that's what friends are for, right? I guess so. I guess that is the case. We'll all be here for one another regardless, And that's just how it's going to be. Take care, CJ Jones. Anyways, like I said, I'm gonna have to wrap this one up now because I'm reaching my time limit limitation. But either ways, guys, thanks for tuning in. It was wonderful to see new people come up and have a good talk. Me doing this on my own solo. But either ways, I thank you guys for popping in. It meant a lot. But take good care, lads, and be with those who you love and care. And even if someone feels down, if they are feeling a bit, you know exactly what to do. Just try and talk things out and then see what the outcome gives you. And that's what we have to do with each other. Regardless of what people do to us, whether we get trolled or abused or bullied or cyberbullied or anything for people who seek attention, who want them to have the spotlight to themselves and just show that they've got nothing, when they clearly are too focused on the negativities of what we do and not seeing the positives that we can do to ourselves that can make a big difference. Well, that's their loss, That's all I can say. Regardless of who we are as human beings. So with that being said, this is KaneFan701, and I'll see you guys sometime maybe next month in April. Take good care, guys. And just let you know, to help beat this COVID crisis, always stay indoors. Keep your hands washed down. Stay at home, protect the NHS, and save lives. That's how we do it here in the UK. And that's exactly what we got to do. One day, we will return to normality, whenever that may be. Take care, you guys. Peace.